Keep up on the International League scene with LOLesports.com, or if you're looking for some league action that's a little closer to home, reserve your spot in our studio for the 4D in-person LCS experience. Just click on the tickets link for all the details. But right now, we've got more action coming your way. It's going to be Team Impulse versus Cloud9 for our next match today. And yesterday, Cloud9 were able to pick up their third win against Team Dragon Knights as they slowly claw their way back up the standings.
Right. They did get a win. It was against the last place team that were fielding subs, but they really need to keep climbing, and they're going to have to aim higher. Team Impulse, they're just one game ahead of them, so this is a perfect target for Cloud9. Team Impulse also have a very clear play style, and traditionally one of Cloud9's biggest strengths has been their preparation. So I definitely looking to see if they can plan specifically around this team and get a team composition for Team Impulse to react to their style of play.
That clear play style of chaos. in itself.
Well, it's just a high-tempo style.
Exactly. And while Cloud9 are slowly rebuilding their team, yesterday it looked like Team Impulse's problems were still looming.
Yeah, I mean, Xiao did mention in his interview as well that the team, they're still struggling to fix those communication issues that, of course, were going to be a big deal putting together this team. The losses also seem like they're starting to wear on team morale now, specifically Rush. I remember when he came into this league, he was just so excited, and he came in with so much drive, and he had these lofty aspirations of taking over the entire league, and he had a lot of enthusiasm and confidence in himself. But it seems like the slow start to the split has, sort of curbed his enthusiasm a little bit.
Well, let's see if he can get things back into gear. We'll check out the starting lineups now and get into the game. On the blue side, it's Team Impulse. That's Impact in the top lane, Rush in the jungle, Xiao in the mid, Apollo at AD carry, Adrian at support, and Fly as coach.
And on the red side, it's Cloud9. Up top is Balls in the jungle, Meteos, mid, Incarnation, AD carry, Sneaky, support Lemon Nation, and of course, Coach Charlie.
And gotta say, yesterday's words from Lemon Nation were a little discouraging, especially for fans maybe. He seemed quite down, but in a way that also means Cloud9 knows the severity of the position they're in right now, and obviously you're making changes to get out of it.
This pervasive depression is kind of all over all the North American teams right now, actually. Everybody looking to have perfect play, but nobody there. Nobody really close either.
Very difficult, especially when it seems that it's just fizzled out here. Even with Incarnation coming in, it didn't really fill the shoes that needed to be filled in a sense. Meteos' shot calling, he says, has kind of been a thing that he's not so sure of himself. So with those repaired, Cloud9 could definitely come back riding into the horizon for their fans. We'll see, though. It's been a tough road. Impulse as well, 4-5 coming into the season so far. Struggling to find the way to get back in, saying the break really put them back, and they haven't been able to get that mojo going.
All right, so Rumble's still on the board here for Cloud9. Alistar is also still available, very high priority pick, and one of the two Cinder Hulk early ganking junglers have been banned in Rek'Sai. So Gragas, Alistar, as well as Rumble, pretty high priority in this matchup versus Cloud9. It looks like Impulse willing to give the champion over to Cloud9, or willing to first pick it for Impact.
Echo last ban, causing Cloud9 to wonder a little bit. What is a bigger priority? And it is taking away that Gragas, making sure they don't get a first pick. So the junglers do get bans in this game, something we hadn't seen in the last two. You see what teams begin to favor here. The alley does, however, get picked up. A real priority pick that the teams have been going after and banning quite a bit. Cloud9 to decide now. Supports have been shown. What is Balls' pretty much first pick here?
I mean, he's looking at 17-0 in North American LCS on Rumble.
Yeah.
So that's
Impact.
That's always a
quite
good
a few
pick
plays
for Cloud9. But yeah, the Alistar, definitely nobody going to argue with that first pickup.
Man, we've heard Zion Spartan say, I will not make the mistake again of giving Balls Rumble. I would never do it. Never going to happen.
Impact is not Zion.
He's not Zion. That's for damn sure.
And the Alistar, I feel like that's really just too hard for Impulse to pass up because they love going for tower dives. They love going for those early moves and hard initiation. Alistar brings everything to Team Impulse. They can also combo with Sivir. So Cloud9, if they're, this Team Impulse team, they're looking to prep against it. Two of the biggest picks for Team Impulse are Alistar and Sivir. And
Yeah,
they've both gone
call.
through this pick bans, whereas Meteos has opted for the early Nocturne, which is technically a takeaway from
Very much so.
Rush. However, Rush was Nocturne ulting in onto supports a lot yesterday, so.
I'd say it's either the Lee or the Evelyn for him, and to give up the Sivir here would be a little crazy. I'm sure Sneaky would love to take that away. It's almost a prerequisite here for Team Impulse's composition, so thinking it might just be that Sivir.
So the thing is, Nocturne is actually quite good against Sivir.
Yeah.
Because he can ult in on her, and even if the spell shield's there, all you really have to do is keep up speed with your trail from the Deathbringer, and you can almost match Sivir's speed. You can almost keep up with her. I'm very interested to see what type of smite Meteos takes as well for his diving in onto Sivir, because they're very much expecting this from Team Impulse. And Team Impulse, as we said, very clear playstyle. These 3 picks are quintessential Impulse picks. This is Rush on his Lee Sin as well, so they are just tripling down on that early high tempo style.
Get a 7th play of Sivir in there in the 9 games so far. Now 10 coming out of Team Impulse. What does Cloud9 have? Nocturne definitely been seeing a bit of resurgence here as teams continue to ban out the top junglers. And Echo is in there as well now, considering Meteos to play that. Definitely still have the Kog'Maw for Incarnation. Can stay on the back line this game, but already have a bit of AP. Does he go Jace? Keep poking the team here. What can they decide? Or what will they decide, I should say. They make it easy. They let Incarnation round out the composition with last pick as it comes back around. And the Jinx Annie. Actually, a lot of kaboom there coming in for the team fights.
Yeah, so they do have the combo of fire and fire, which is the Annie and Rumble, which is a pretty big tool for mid-game team fights. However, Annie does sometimes have a problem with Alistar when you transition to the team fight phase. Alistar's pretty good at trying to zone her out and nullify the flash tibbers, headbutting her away, being able to ult out of her, stun, and tank in front of her. Especially when sped up by Sivir. So Lemonation's going to have his work cut out for him to try and get into a good position for his flash stun. But he could take focus off of Impulse rushing towards Sneaky. The lock-in of Sneaky on Jinx as well. No dash on that AD carry, always a bit worrisome versus Team Impulse, who like to charge the back line and dive you. But Sneaky confident in his positioning to pull it off.
Oh. More Orianna. I'm enjoying this second day of week 5.
What a setup there, easily too. A point-and-click delivery for the Orianna ball.
Especially with a Jinx now, that's going to be tough for Sneaky.
Yeah, looks pretty scary. They do have the darkness to work with. They can.
That's a good point.
You know, work with the cover of darkness for their mid-game fight, and try to hope that they can cut off Team Impulse, because if they have poor communication and you Nocturne ult, then you can really pull apart a team. Even this is what a lot of teams would do against TSM way back when they were in their prime and had control over all of North America. Sometimes Reginald would go for initiations, and if you had Nocturne on your team, you could cut off the rest of TSM and they would fall apart and be disorganized. But if Team Impulse, all they're saying is go forward, go forward, go forward, then they're still just going to go the same direction.
I do. Because of that, I actually like that last Victor pick coming in from Cloud9. See the plays here. Gravity in week 2, and he did play it against TDK yesterday. So Incarnation feeling good on Gravity. He's got 3 members, a Maokai, a Lee Sin, and an Alistar that could be jumping on him. Very easy members to Chaos Storm in that balled up situation. Bit of a disengaged defensive play there with that Victor. Hopefully they can turn it into some offense throughout the game as well. Now Cloud9 would like to start getting those wins in, as it's been a hurtful season in that record book for them. 4-5 for Team Impulse, and it's time to start flooding Twitter with your game predictions. As always, send your picks with either hashtag TIP win or hashtag C9 win to @LOL Esports. We'll make sure we tally those up throughout the game. Team Impulse did get their Sivir. They have the composition pretty much that they want, as long as they get that. We'll see if Cloud9 got what they want. Balsher did. He got his Rumble in the top lane.
All right, we'll see if he can make it 18-0 North American LCS all time.
That'd be crazy.
On that champion.
Pretty crazy. Wasn't Faker's LeBlanc somewhere around 16, 17, 18? I think it was 16 before he played it against Pawn in the mid lane against the Morgana at MSI. I wonder what the longest record is for that in professional play. And Apollo, speaking of the side of Impulse, puts a lot of blame for Sneaky's recent lackluster games on the rest of Cloud9.
So I think Sneaky right now definitely is a above average AD carry, but yeah, his team is holding him back a bit. It's hard for an AD carry right now to make a huge impact in the game. It has to do with like playing as a team, like your jungle, mid, top, everything. So it's, yeah, it just, once their team starts to do well, you'll see him shine a lot more.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Yeah, Sneaky has been consistent player for Cloud9 for a long time. Going to be very difficult on Jinx versus Sivir boosted.
Yeah.
Alistar Malachi looking for the back line.
This is like you went to the menu of difficulty and you selected just above the hard. It's like normal, hard, just above hard.
Well, at least there's no Nocturne on the other team.
That's true.
Get half a screen away with the point and click.
He'll have his work cut out for him this game. You can see Balls Rumble stats there.
86% kill participation on top of it as well.
He likes light people on fire.
All right. Well, deep ward's there for Cloud9. Gonna scout the lane swap. Looks like they're going for the strong side invade as well. So strong side start for Impulse, whereas it's a strong side invade from Cloud9. And they should be able to split jungle quadrants here.
Ability tome start from Balls as well here, so Flame Spitter going to help to crush through the jungle with his potions. Get to a fast haunting guys for himself.
Clear quicker.
Yep. So may have another bit of a slow early game.
Well,
jungler's kind of hanging out here.
So the duo lane, nobody was up there to group up the minions, so they're not going to try and freeze.
Right.
They're going to try and push. They did the Gromp instead. Oh wow, it just it froze for themselves. It froze without them even being there. And they will be able to keep it there if they so choose. Just going to split jungle across the map here for both teams. Everybody pretty much dead even here as far as the clear speed goes so far. Also some early roam here from Alistar as Adrian looks to join the duo in a gank attempt rather than sitting in lane and leeching more experience.
This looks like it could work out very well. The flash coming in perfectly from Incarnation. That's worth for him.
Yep.
But then maybe rinse and repeat for Impulse to come back.
Splitting that combo, able to flash right as the headbutt goes in. And they're able to remove a lot of that threat from the Alistar. But again, Victor, no dash for himself. Now no flash. Has to be very, very careful. Incarnation in this matchup.
Especially just against Xiao Wei Xiao himself, bringing Ignite to the mid lane. Sometimes you see Barrier for Orianna's or something else as well, but he has that kill pressure on Incarnation. It comes down to it with the heal. Allie once again. Oh boy, it looks like they just won everything under the turret here. You can see Xiao Wei Xiao pushing the lane in as hard as possible. I feel like Incarnation has to know something's going on. Xiao Wei not giving any aggression up on this one. They go right for him. Rush is the first one to tank it, and they do it very nicely. Taking down Incarnation.
I like the adaptation because you get reduced value of sending your other champions to attack a turret this early in the game. There's reduced damage taken from champions. They instead go for the first blood money off of middle before then having the extra time to head bottom or secure Dragon right now. Pretty much Impulse have their pick of the litter right now of what objectives they want to go for. Apollo by himself also got solo experience due to committing everyone mid instead. So he's got the experience boost when they do meet back up with Sneaky, as well as that first blood money going over to impact on Maokai. So the other side of the lane swap when they meet back up, he'll have some extra cash to work with.
The fact of that happening is pretty rare too. Usually you see a team say, all right, we'll come back in a bit. They literally went back to the same spot and did it as quick as possible. Impulse knowing where they can get their advantages, and they might even start to pressure even harder down towards this mid lane. We'll see where Adrian goes. He's not going towards the bot lane just yet. He's ready to roam still, so they may try to get more ganks on these lanes. At least wards to come out. We see Meteos farming up his Raptors. Should be good to come back with his item.
Yep, Nocturne very happy with an evenly split lane swap scenario. Yes, Cloud9 would have liked to avoid the action mid, but getting Nocturne to level 6 as soon as possible is always the goal, as well as avoiding the early aggression of Lee Sin. Didn't work out for them, though. The early aggression still came in from Team Impulse. They were still able to find their mark. See what they can do with it, though. Lee Sin, Rush, and Russian Impact have been able to combine for some very strong early plays. This ward, though, from Balls should keep him safe, and he can try to waste some time.
Yeah,
Rush.
nicely done.
I don't know about waste, though. Took a 200 damage about in that combo.
Could be a way back. They pinged the tri-brush, and that ward died on the top side, so they may be able to come back themselves, but they are just saying keep an eye on the tri-brush to make sure they don't try to come down here. Get a gank themselves. Meteos is still on the bottom side of his jungle, though, so nothing will come of that. Xiao is also free of pressure here, but they get knowledge of Meteos. So a lot of little things happening here the teams may be able to work off of. Looks like everybody's content with just keeping the farm as is.
Yeah, Meteos, not only did he get a couple of lane minions, but he's also to sneak away a camp there, steal it from out from under Rush, increasing the CS advantage that he has over Rush. Comes up, he does have the Raptor buff as well, so he knows there's no ward there, but sees the sapling thrown.
That's the thing, right? He just went through mid lane. Whether or not Impact knew that from the call, he just kind of said, you know, maybe 15, 20 seconds. I'm going to sapling this top brush. Hey, look, I found a Meteos.
So, again, what I was talking about last game, where you see your Wraiths are counter jungled, you got to assume there's a ward in there as well. And Meteos has left one in that Wraith bush, so Rush can work around the knowledge that they have seen him enter this side of the map. They do have a pink ward on bottom, but difficult to pull that dive off unless they call in a teleport as well. It is something that we have seen, though, the jungler bringing a ward with them for an early gank, to have a teleport assisted gank from the top laner. Impulse, though, take down the turret, shove up so that they can just get a dragon. The advantages of being on the bottom side of the lane swap.
Very nicely done. May even try to go for a quick gank here in the bot as well. On the hunt is up for Sivir. And it looks like we're going to get Sneaky 2 back off already. You can see the first dragon timers for these teams really not kind of matching what's on the stats. But they go for it early. If Impulse can do it, they will try.
Meteos just hard farming, trying to get to that level 6 off of the red camp. Probably will get close, and one more. At that point, what lane does he even go for, though? Try and punish this bottom lane that's extending really far into the jungle. Actually, Impulse are getting their recall off because they don't have the deep wards to back it up. Good call there from Impulse, as their bottom lane recalls just as Meteos does hit that 6 mark. Carnation double summoners back up as well, so a play on mid, though, is always fairly risky versus Orianna because Nocturne commits all the way in, and she can easily take off the spell shield before getting a shockwave off. So if Xiao gets back to his turret, you have to be very careful about a turnaround gank there. You have to know where Rush is before you go for one of these early moves. First ultimate from Nocturne does determine a lot of his snowball potential for the rest of the game. Yeah,
and Meteos has actually farmed himself up pretty well, something we've been seeing him do the past few weeks.
Oh no, he's going Cinder Hulk. It's not a damage Nocturne.
No.
They do have a
damage Lee Sin.
Plenty of other sources of damage for the Cloud9 squad, though, so they do want a tank. The only thing is that Nocturne doesn't really have any innate scaling with health. He's just trying to get to be a strong body on the front line.
Was it last season or 2 seasons ago towards the end he played that tank? But
yeah, he's played it both ways.
Nocturne.
He's played it full damage. He's
like
played it tank before as well. We have seen it. It was also used in China as tank.
That's true.
Also damage there too. So both ways in this team comp, though.
You're right, though. There is a lot of damage to come in for these fights.
Yeah, they've got plenty of other sources. Won't be a problem for them.
Should be seeing one of those quite soon. See what pans out here towards the top lane. Maybe at least a 2v2 between the junglers. slowly moving on the mini-map as Incarnation and Xiao continue to push each other in with blue buff. Top lane fizzles out, just a bunch of warding coming from the junglers to keep everybody safe. Meteos back down to mid. Level 6 for him, and level 6 for Rush as well, so making sure everybody's matched up here.
They really want to make this flash play here. Lemonation level 6 wants to get the stun to start it all off.
Oh boy. Great flash by Xiao. They still want it right under the turret, and that's because the rocket was the follow-up over the shoulder of his teammates. They get the kill into Xiao.
There's your Cloud9 coordination for you. Everybody mid with the ultimates. Lemonation sets it up. The stun lands even as the flash gets pulled off. So even though he got the flash off under turret, Meteos commits to it, and the rocket straight down the middle. Since it was a straight line flash, still hits. That's the thing. Everybody will flash in straight lines unless they train themselves to flash
perpendicular
perpendicular
to any skill shot.
Plus, there was no way he could see that coming. Sneaky was sitting in the middle between their own.
That's true. They were all at a really good range.
He was out of vision. The rocket had time to speed up.
This is like a gank like this is also reminiscent of Cloud9 setting up a gank that kind of, if the first part fails or kind of misaligns, there's still something else that's going to follow up. They're sure that it's going to work in some way or another in their advantage.
That would be heartbreaking for the team. If that was turned around, if Xiao lived from that, they committed everything. The Flash Nocturne ultimate used. The Flash ult from Elimination as well. So Cloud9, though, their precision play pays off when they get that kill. Not first blood money, but a kill nonetheless back for them.
I always like to think it works once, though, right? Now he's aware Xiao is not going to let it happen again. Where can Cloud9 do it next?
Oh, here's that combo, though.
Impulse had their way with Incarnation in mid, so they go to the top side now, trying to shut down the 17-0 balls. He's bringing out some damage, but not enough with the Haunting guys just finished up. And he goes down to Rush, making plays on his Lee Sin this game.
Impact and Rush. Once again. The Bash brothers of Team Liquid.
Yeah. It's something that worked for him before. Why not go back to it?
And they knew, Meteos had used everything in that last game, so no presence for him up on the top side. Since they have defensive wards up for Team Impulse all across that side of the map, you don't see any entry into the river. And they were very safe with that aggressive play.
Oh, they're going to try to hit this one up immediately. The Ignite goes down to Elimination. Apollo has enough to kind of just stand through the Tibbers. It was the call for balls to come in, however, that could change the fight. And I think Impulse has actually calculated this one so everybody can get out. Balls comes off of the overheat, but doesn't have enough speed on Scrap Shield to get back into range. Nicely done by Impulse to thwart Cloud9 there.
Yeah, and some mistiming there. After such great combo in mid lane there, that one was a little bit disjointed for Cloud9. Turret still had plenty of health there, and the Alistar was able to get in the middle of it. Meteos now caught out in enemy territory.
They don't get what they want, so they want to provide a way to get more. That also takes down Cloud9 as they get in for some deep wards, and things start to crumble quickly as they start to get ahead and try to get themselves a lead.
Yeah, they used everything on that mid lane. It's crumbling on the sides. No real deep vision, though, for Team Impulse. It's mostly defensive here.
That's true. They're kind of working off a lot of what Cloud9 is trying to execute. They're getting it to work in their favor. Safety from Impulse is not usually what we see. It seems to be paying off a little bit here. Again, back into their own jungle. Try and guard their wards. This one, a futile attempt. Elimination able to take that one down.
Okay, well, Rush 2-0-2. Maokai's getting super tanky fairly quickly as well. Looking to get in there for a Righteous Glory combination next. Did have to get some magic resist for his lane versus Rumble, but they're looking like the dive buddies for Sneaky. Getting ready pretty quickly.
They want top lane to get pushed. They say Dragon 1 for the other team. Ain't no big thing. Meteos picked that one up for the team. No worries there, but they want have Impact rather push this top lane so he can get everything off of that top turret, start spreading the map a little bit.
Cloud9 able to output some pressure, go for the objective off the recall of mid lane. Xiao goes back and they quickly jump on it.
Okay.
Evening up the Dragons is actually really big for Cloud9. They don't want Impulse to gain that lever in the middle of the map. They can just try and pull Cloud9 out into the open, where the possibility of the Maokai TP flank and Sivir boost for the rest of the team enables Team Impulse to get to that backline and try and blow up Victor and Jinx. Very low mobility.
So they finally get this lane pushed up. Ball says no thank you. Equalizer right down the middle of the minion wave here, and it looks like Cloud9 could actually get a bit of an upper hand here in turrets. They already have 2-1. They may make it 3-1 though, as Impact is left guarding this by himself. Quick arcane smash to do the trick, but he actually can't get to the minion wave. Takes more damage than he probably would have liked.
You're just heading down just to lend support here.
They're gonna have to call down a few more resources.
They do have a 1 ward at red buff. That should mean they're gonna back off as soon as they see the move from Orianna. And a wave was lost mid because of that move. So Cloud9 once again playing the map, and the pressure bottom results in some missed CS for Xiao as they lure him down to the bottom side of the map. Even with vision, not going to go for that interrupt on Incarnation. He's level 7 Victor, and junglers don't really like going aggressive on level 11 mid laners. The possibility of that burst, just too much.
Pull a whoopsie. I think you got the kill on the guy backing. He was baiting you. Gonna get a transfer over to Xiao here in the mid lane. Still has that ignite. Hasn't been able to go aggressive on Incarnation. After that first gank, he has played very, very safe in the lane and has kept the CS completely equal at 15 minutes. We're at 17 now. Looks like we're gonna try to get something in the mid lane, maybe a ball control from Adrian, but Lemon Nation is also there for the counter. Pink ward's pushed up here by Cloud9, definitely giving him the advantage. They know that Adrian just walked out, but he was still on the side. There is the shockwave coming in. It's going to be a Chaos Storm kill onto Xiao, but they still get the retribution on Incarnation. Impact's taking quite a bit of damage as Rush comes in. A ding, a new challenger approaches, and they get the twisted advance onto Sneaky. That was the worry. No escape for the Jinx, and now a no escape for Lemon Nation. Rush coming up big as he connects the Sonic Wave, the resonating strike to boot, and he will not follow through onto Meteos, but they will get the middle turret here and finally open up this game.
Yeah, Rush and Apollo, the early response team there, pop Sivir ultimate in order to react for another similar play from Cloud9. That's what it looks like when those all-ins are turned around. We mentioned the possibility of that early and how devastating it can be if an Orianna gets to turn around a gank like that, landing the shockwave, and then Rush going in for a patented Lee Sin kickback on Sneaky, able to get that low mobility champion right into the loving embrace of Maokai.
Impulse working well off Cloud9 trying to engage.
So Xiao, because he lives with, what, 300 health there, does get off the shockwave before going down. Incarnation trades with him with the ultimate, but because, actually it's a lot of tanking brought around because of the Alistar ultimate as well. But again, Apollo comes in to join with the flash boomerang blade and takes out Sneaky. What a pass there from Rush over to Impact.
Yeah, right spot at the right time for that fight to occur, it seems, for Impulse. Everybody made the right moves to continue finishing off the cleanup kills and put it in their favor. Now 7-2. Only took a few minutes for things to kind of go off the handle there. We were just talking about even CS in some of the lanes and an even game altogether, but that has spread it.
Yeah.
Minute 30 onto Dragon. Should be in favor of Impulse here if they can start to flex their muscles a little bit more. They have the warding for sure on that side of the map. It seems like Cloud9 wants to start getting a deny on the resources here on the top side, but also vision to make sure nothing is snuck. A little too early for Baron just yet.
Yeah, you can tell that Cloud9 have been pre-planning these combos mid that they want to pull off, but they gave away so much speed to Team Impulse, and a team that really have had a lot of practice with this type of squad. Able to pull off the response and get the counter the second time around. It's so risky for Cloud9 to opt for a mid laner with, no extra mobility in his kit and an AD carry that are going to be vulnerable to the high tempo dive style of Impulse. Still, Cloud9 have the option. Still have some tools in order to turn this around, but the vision now for Impulse is actually growing to be a problem here. Dragon 30 seconds, and they've got plenty of it around the blue side buff jungle of Cloud9. They can see one of those plays coming now.
Yeah. A pretty good amount of wards. They're just outside the range of Impulse's pink, so they have vision as the fight will start here, but it's not something that they really want to take right off the bat. Got to get a good equalizer down. And with that Sivir ultimate, everybody's going to be able to pretty much disengage it. Real hard. Lemon Nation's already tried twice to get himself in for the flash. Tibbers, once it worked, once it did not, so they may be kind of hesitating on it again.
Yeah, man, as we said, it's going to be, like, you can tell what they were planning picking this squad, but it's going to be hard to pull off.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things to counter Annie are really big, beefy front lines that just build full defense. Maokai and Alistar are two great examples of this, that they can try and interrupt her and zone her away from getting the perfect flash stun that she wants to do. Now that Impact does have Righteous Glory as well, they have to worry about contesting neutral objectives, opening themselves up, you know, in the middle of the map. Very, very vulnerable unless they're able to contain the fighting into a small area. Looks pretty good for Impulse here as far as the mid game goes.
Fearless movement, that's got to be a scary thing for Cloud9. Impulse not really worrying, knowing they can set down wards without even being skirmished on. And they're the ones that want to start the fight. Sneaky in a bad spot. Unbreakable Will's taking the turret from the beginning and completely dunked as Sneaky. Balls is going to go down thinking he can actually assist. And the I Think I Can may continue to play through for Cloud9. They get right in the way of the shockwave. That's elimination. One more hit is Adrian in range. It's going to be the command move coming in from Xiaowei Zhao. Another kill. And somehow with one person under that inhibitor turret, 4 go down, or rather outer turret, 4 go down for Cloud9.
Man, it's like Impulse just went into a candy store in the pick ban phase and they just got everything they wanted.
Oh, Meteos looking to get a final push on the wave.
This is really hard to watch, actually. Man.
Why indeed? Why indeed?
I mean, they got Alistar to start off the dive. Everybody perfect follow-up. Oh, can he get one back? Nope. Riv, can he get one back? Riv!
Oh, felt the breeze.
Riv, can he?
Felt the breeze. Well, let's see how this started. One person is under this turret, and nobody's really in range to die, other than him.
Adrian's happy to tank it up, Alistar ultimate, and they even want more after that. Impact with a secondary engage, he's full tank. He's sitting on the Rumble equalizer the whole time and taking the turret for the team.
Got a hot foot.
For the third re-engage from Adrian.
Oh.
Confident to push the mid lane mage right back next to his AD carry because they're so far ahead.
Here, have this. This is for you.
Ouch.
Take this. Run away. That's exactly what Cloud9 was thinking.
Well,
but they ran too. They tried to get the fight. Impact doing what he can to clear out this bottom wave. These guys have to be feeling good right now. I mentioned it, 15 minutes, the game was close. Yeah. We're 7 minutes later, and now a 7,000 gold lead coming in for Team Impulse. A lot changed in a very short amount of time. So, items surplus now for Team Impulse. They have Frozen Hearts, the Lockets of the Iron Solari finished, want to engage even more, and not even a chance to breathe or blink coming in from Cloud9. The connect here going on to Meteos. The connect on to Sneaky. His mind's telling him, you know, but he doesn't do it. He does not do it. Curative Elise Syndrome is Rush, and he heads to the team for the priority target for that priority objective of Baron.
Yeah, and not only do they have, you know, vision, of course, but they obviously have control, so pretty easy pickup there for them. There's not much to say about the amount of control Impulse have over this game. I guess it wasn't really a candy store. It was an armory that they got to go into, and they pretty much picked up bazookas for themselves.
It's the candy armory.
All right, well, now they've got Baron on top of it, so they can also go into demolition mode and start taking down the rest of the turrets.
And I gotta say, while Impulse is still playing well and Cloud9 has made some grave mistakes that hurt them this game, you gotta see how much Sivir plays into Impulse's compositions. 2-0-7 already. They're in and out of any fights they don't want to be in or do want to be in whenever they want.
At this point, they want in on any match.
Absolutely.
Ding ding. Rush is ready.
Rush calling these fights with the rest of the team. He had a pretty great early game. kind of...
Oh, he jumped up to 606 without me even really keeping track of the last hits for him.
Yep. Starting things off so the composition now can run in whatever they want in mid at the right spot at the right time. And him, he has been banned out quite a bit towards jungler. Didn't want to play Lee Sin, went for the Nocturne yesterday. And it looks like he should have went for the Lee Sin, apparently.
Well, see what they do with it. They can just steamroll straight through these turrets. Adrian can tank them. Impact can tank them. Rush
fearless.
Itching to make a play.
They're all fearless right now. Zanya's almost ready for Xiao Xiao. He'll get himself into some
Lemon's
more peculiar positions.
Lemon's in position.
This could be, but I don't know. Don't waste too much on that guy.
It's the bodyguard.
That's still really good damage. It's going to be healed, but they can start that fight. Baron minions on the turret. Aren't going to allow too much to flash kick for Sneaky. Absolutely dunked with the last auto attack for Apollo. And now here comes On the Hunt once again. In range as much as they need to be. One last hit to Lemon Nation. Rush gets the face of the mountain coming in from good guy Adrian. And it looks like they're still able to engage. Impact completely tanking that shredding inhibitor turret. Ball's now in the wrong spot at the wrong time. He's going to go down. They're going to be able to drop down Meteos. That's the ace for Impulse. 19-3. 26 minutes in. They're inside Cloud9's base.
What a massacre this game is. Team Impulse just shredding Cloud9.
Impulse is all out of bubblegum. that's all there is to it, man. All out of bubblegum right now. Holy moly. This is the team we saw last split, previous splits from Impulse, but it was from the get-go. They would do these things from the start. It's taking a little bit longer now, but they can still produce that result they're finding.
Whew.
Yeah, breather. Take a breather.
Painful. There. All right, well, let's see how Rush got in there, because he misses the Q, but he's like, I don't need that Q. Ward hop into flash, you're gone. That's one of the low mobility carries for Cloud9 out of the picture. But why stop there, Riv? What? Inhibitor turrets?
But there's more.
They don't slow you down.
For 2 easy flashes.
Impact, he's not even really taking damage from this inhibitor turret. The only thing that causes a member of Impulse to die is because when you use the Twisted Advance for Impact, he loses tower aggro because he becomes untargetable. So it swaps back onto Adrian and they get 1 kill for Cloud9.
Becomes a thing.
Well, that's it.
Still trying to claw their way back in, as we said in the pregame, and doing it in this game. Impulse has pretty much kicked the ladder away from the roof at this point. Cloud9's going to have a tough time finding their way back to the top in this game.
And we are
about 40,000 to 53,000 right now.
We are past the halfway mark now for Cloud9.
Oh boy.
Well, as far as this.
There's the On the Hunt right onto Incarnation again. There's no escape for him or Sneaky in these fights, and they continuously go down very quick. Balls looks to get the first loss on his professional Rumble career as Impulse makes their way into the base. Almost another ace as Sneaky's in the bottom lane, not even present for the fight as Cloud9 is looking to squeak out a few more objectives on the map.
Well, he's got an inhibitor.
He's gonna get it.
But it's going to cost him a Nexus.
There's a hashtag worth here, at least for Sneaky. The team is on to the Nexus for Impulse. Cloud9 looking to get another loss in the record book here. Just under 30 minutes, 24-3 as Impulse turned it on. They're able to take down Cloud9 and go 2-0 on the split against them.
One of the most brutal beatings that we've seen this split.
That's the team that doesn't let go, that's not okay with having a little bit of a lead. That's a team that wants more of a lead consistently, and it's an Impulse we haven't seen for quite some time. It really is. It really is now. Few fights that are really reminiscent of Cloud9's past, trying to get back into something, but that call just escalated the game out of control so quickly, and it happened twice in a row this game. The engages in the bottom side of the jungle, Tip was able to control and turn in their favor. The engage in mid, Tip was able to control and turn in their favor. After those 2 fights, Tip made the fights in their favor. They manifested everything from there on out.
I don't think you can give Impulse that much of a speed advantage.
No.
In the overall team. If you give them that mobility, then they are going to create those plays across the map. And if one step goes wrong in this sort of sniper combo that Cloud9 wanted to pull off with the Nocturne, Jinx, Annie, and Victor all mid to take down one target. If one thing goes wrong in that plan and you get turned on one time, you're left with nothing. There's no backup plan there. And both your carries, very vulnerable targets.
The composition that Impulse brought to the table worked, and the statistics show it. Maokai did more damage, not combined, but more damage than both Incarnation and Sneaky on the scoreboard. So your carries weren't able to beat out the top laner, meaning the Impulse's composition was on the right targets at the right time, and Cloud9 couldn't find a way through those fights.
Nope. they couldn't find a way away from the fights either.
Yeah, that too. The disengage of speed or the re-engage for Impulse, able to bring them into another win. Now 5-5 on the split. It's going to help them out quite a bit and moving them up a little. Maybe tied with somebody else today as we still have more games to play. CLG TSM coming up next, and we've already had some crazy games. I hope this one provides as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be pretty fun to watch.
Always does encourage the fans. CLG
I think they've been encouraged enough today. We've got a pretty rowdy crowd in here, so it's going to be amazing for the next game. Make sure you're tuned in for that one, but right now we're going to throw it over to the analyst desk for more on Tip's decisive win there.
Thank you, Riv. Decisive, to say the least there. And I think Kobe said it best during the game. That was, in a sense, hard to watch. Watch C9
if you're a Cloud9 fan.
Yeah, if you're a Cloud9 fan, just get completely dismantled. And it all began very early in that mid lane where, Impulse decided to go for a mid lane dive as opposed to what we would normally see as a side lane dive.
Well, they had the comp to do it, too. They had Alistar level 2. They had the Maokai. And I do want to talk about the comp here from TIP, because this is comfort just across the board.
Yep.
Adrian's on a dive champion that can start fights. Apollo,
Got a Sivir again.
Lee Sin for Rush, Orianna for Xiao. He always loved to farm. He was a Challenger Series way back in the day champion form. So across the board, TIP are just on champions that they came in here and they're like, you know what? We want to win this game with our own style, so we're going to execute on that. And you saw them take off with the tempo, and they just did not stop.
Yeah, and to be fair, like things like Orianna and Lee Sin being played is not like, oh my God, Cena, how dare you let Xiao play his 5th favorite mid laner? But the thing that actually really got me was the fact that they gave away Alistar and Sivir together. Yeah. So here's the reasoning. So here's what happened in picks and bans. So I'll first introduce what happened before when TIP played TDK. TIP was blue side, TDK had 0 bans. So Impulse gets to play exactly whatever first pick champion they want. They get to say, this is the best champion of the game, we're picking it. And they chose Alistar. With no bans in first pick, they said Alistar is the best champion in the game. And this is just like full known knowledge now. And C9's like, all right, we're gonna like pinch the jungler, we're gonna like ban some other stuff, and surprise, first pick Alistar comes through. And C9's plan was like, yeah, we're gonna ban Rek'Sai, you ban Gragas, you ban Echo. Okay, we're gonna take your Nocturne. That'll show them. Lee Sin gets played and like that's completely useless in the first place. And C9 thinks that Rumble's gonna be good enough, and lo and behold, now Alistar and Sivir got picked, right? Yeah. Like now the 2 best champions for their bottom lane got through picks and bans uncontested. Like that to me is a little bit unacceptable from C9's pick and ban phase. Like that just shouldn't happen. Pick a new strategy. And then to snowball into the level 1 and whatnot, and how the early game was played, super clever by TIP, right? They go for the mid lane dive you're talking about. They had Apollo perfectly manage the bottom lane to where he pushes in about like the 4th wave. He builds it up. There's like 8 cast minions, pushes that wave in. After the second dive mid lane, in they go, and the turret goes down. They don't lose any time for it. Really, really well orchestrated early game.
Zyrene, I do want to look back over on C9 because we see that first loss, 4 balls come through on Rumble, in the North American LCS, that is, right? So when you look at C9 and how they're doing the split, how they'll do in the back half of this split, when you can't even win on the champion that you are known for playing. When you talk about comfort picks, you put balls on Rumble and you can't pick up a victory. What does this mean for a C9 squad with only 8 games left in the season?
Putting balls at 17-1 on his overall record. First loss. Honestly, people talk about, is it time to hit the panic button for Cloud9? Right now, it looks like it's time to hit the panic button for Cloud9. They do not look anything reminiscent of what they were like 1 split ago, 2 splits ago, and that's very, very concerning.
Yep, I mean, some of the stats are misleading because, like, when they went 25-3, a lot of champions are going to end up undefeated on that roster. But, yes, I mean, I don't think anyone's surprised here. C9 looks a lot worse than before. If they stay in the LCS split, they've got to rebuild, just like it took Dignitas like 2-3 splits to get good again. But you know, if they want to keep trying to grow as a team, of course they can. These are good players.
It's a really big dip, though.
Sure, of course it is.
It's a huge dip. This is kind of like almost an unprecedented dip when you replace one person on a team.
Without a doubt, Cloud9 has some work to do to get to where they want to be, but a very decisive, dominating victory there for Team Impulse. We do have to take a quick break while we hype ourselves up to dangerous levels, because when we return, it's on to our game of the week, Team Solo Mid versus Counter Logic Gaming. You're not going to want to miss it.
Hype me up, man. Hype me up.
I'm getting hyped. No!
Why you need translator? Your English better. I can't read the question.
You can't understand the question, you mean?
Yeah, and Lucas Google to me.
A new challenger approaches, and they get the twisted advance onto Sneaky. That was the worry. No escape for the Jinx, and now a no escape for Lemon Nation.
Waiting, go, go, go. Kiting, kiting. Rumble, rumble.
Okay, rumble.
Knocked in. I'm backing. Yeah, kiting.
Kite.
My second combo. Yeah, okay.
Impact completely tanking that shredding inhibitor turret. Ball's now in the wrong spot at the wrong time. He's gonna go down. Impulse turned it on. They're able to take down Cloud9.